Gary's already looking pretty suspicious. The bad boy builder is already prime suspect for killing abusive monster Theo Silverton, James Cartwright, mainly because he smashed up his van with a sledgehammer and sent him a text with the words, "I'm coming for you." Yikes. It doesn't exactly help Gary's case that he's already got blood on his hands, namely the accidental death of Rana Habib, Bhavna Limbakia, and killing ruthless loan shark Rick Nalon, Greg Wood, in self-defense. Gary doesn't like bullies, therefore he definitely doesn't appreciate the fact that Theo acted like a trusted mate and employee, while mentally and physically abusing Todd Grimshaw, Gareth Pierce, behind closed doors. Although the police don't currently have enough evidence for an arrest, it's clear from Carla and Lisa's wedding photos that Mr. Windass was definitely near the murder scene that night, and his behavior has been downright suspicious. If he wasn't killing Theo, what was he doing that night? Whatever it was, it might have something to do with Gary's former girlfriend, Sarah Platt, Tina O'Brien. That's certainly the popular theory amongst die-hard Corey fans. Before his marriage to Maria, Gary had a long and passionate on-again off-again relationship with Sarah from 2016 to 2019, ended by his descent into criminality. Since then, they've managed to stay friends and have grown close again. Maybe a little too close. Is Gary cheating on Maria with Sarah? The pair have been having a few private chats recently, ever since the night of Theo's murder, when Sarah was attacked by Jody Ramsey, Olivia Francis Brown. Just to make this even more juicy, Sarah is currently dating DS Kit Green, Jacob Roberts, who is investigating the murder and is already suspicious of Gary. So far, Maria has stood by her man. She even provided him with a false alibi to cover up the fact he smashed up Theo's van, claiming they were having private time at the builder's yard. However, that may be all set to change if she discovers that Gary's been playing away with Sarah. When Maria reveals that Sarah has forgotten Bethany's, Lucy Fallon, birthday, Gary leaps to Sarah's defense with such passion that it takes Maria aback. Why is Gary so concerned about defending his ex, unless he's got a guilty conscience? The Cobbles are rocked by yet another explosive scandal as long-buried feelings resurface and a shocking betrayal threatens to destroy multiple relationships. In dramatic scenes that leave residents stunned, Gary Windass and Sarah Barlow find themselves at the center of a growing storm when their secret connection is finally exposed. For weeks, whispers had been circulating around Weatherfield. Friends noticed the lingering glances between Gary and Sarah, the private conversations that seemed to stop whenever someone approached, and the strange tension that filled the room whenever they were together. While both insisted they were simply friends, those closest to them began to suspect there was far more going on behind closed doors. Maria Connor was among the first to notice that something wasn't quite right. Initially, she dismissed her concerns, convincing herself that Gary would never betray her trust. After everything they had endured together over the years, she believed their relationship was strong enough to withstand any challenge. However, the signs became increasingly difficult to ignore. Sarah and Gary were frequently finding excuses to spend time together. Whether it was discussing family matters, helping each other through personal struggles, or sharing private moments away from the rest of the street, their bond appeared to be growing stronger with every passing day. Maria's unease turned into genuine concern when she overheard a conversation that immediately raised alarm bells. Though she couldn't hear every word, the emotional intensity between Gary and Sarah was impossible to miss. The pair seemed deeply connected, sharing a level of intimacy that went far beyond friendship. Despite her fears, Maria desperately wanted to believe there was an innocent explanation. Unfortunately, the truth was about to come crashing down around her. The drama begins when Sarah finds herself struggling with a difficult situation in her personal life. Feeling isolated and unsure where to turn, she reaches out to Gary for support. What starts as a simple conversation soon develops into something far more complicated. Gary, already dealing with pressures of his own, becomes Sarah's confidant. The more time they spend together, the harder it becomes to deny the emotional attraction growing between them. One evening, emotions finally boil over. After a heartfelt discussion about their regrets, fears, and hopes for the future, Gary and Sarah share a moment neither of them expected. The chemistry that had been simmering beneath the surface suddenly becomes impossible to resist. Although both are immediately overwhelmed with guilt, the damage has already been done. What they don't realize is that someone has seen more than they intended. A chance witness catches sight of their suspicious behavior and quickly begins piecing together what may have happened. Before long, rumors spread across Weatherfield like wildfire. Residents are divided. Some refuse to believe Gary would risk everything for an affair. Others point out that the evidence is becoming increasingly difficult to dismiss. As gossip intensifies, Maria starts asking questions. Gary attempts to reassure her, insisting she has nothing to worry about. But his nervous behavior only fuels her suspicions. Every answer seems rehearsed. Every explanation feels incomplete. Meanwhile, Sarah is struggling with her own conscience. Consumed by guilt, she finds it increasingly difficult to face those around her. Her emotional turmoil becomes obvious to family members, who begin pressing her for answers. The pressure eventually becomes unbearable. In devastating scenes, the truth finally emerges. A confrontation erupts when Maria discovers messages that reveal the extent of Gary and Sarah's connection. The evidence leaves little room for doubt, and Maria is left heartbroken as she realizes her worst fears have become reality. Her world collapses in an instant. The man she trusted has betrayed her with someone she considered a friend. Viewers watch as Maria confronts Gary in an emotional showdown that quickly turns explosive. Tears flow as she demands to know how long the relationship has been going on and why he chose to deceive her. Gary struggles to defend himself. Clearly filled with regret, he admits he never intended for things to go this far. He insists the situation spiraled out of control and claims he still loves Maria. But for Maria, the damage is irreparable. Years of trust have been shattered. She cannot understand how Gary could throw away everything they built together. Every memory they shared suddenly feels tainted by betrayal. The emotional fallout doesn't stop there. Sarah also faces fierce backlash from those closest to her. Family members are horrified by her actions and disappointed that she became involved in a situation that was destined to hurt so many people. Sarah attempts to explain that her feelings developed unexpectedly and that she never intended to cause pain. However, her explanations do little to ease the anger surrounding her. Friends begin taking sides. Some sympathize with Sarah's emotional struggles, while others believe she knowingly crossed a line she should never have approached. Weatherfield quickly becomes a battlefield of divided loyalties. As tensions rise, Gary finds himself increasingly isolated. People who once supported him now question his judgment. Even those willing to listen struggle to excuse his actions. For Gary, the consequences are severe. Not only has he lost Maria's trust, but he may also have permanently damaged his reputation within the community. The situation becomes even more complicated when Maria makes a life-changing decision. Determined to protect herself from further heartbreak, she considers ending her relationship with Gary once and for all. While part of her still loves him, another part recognizes that trust is essential for any future together. The emotional conflict tears her apart. Loved ones rally around Maria as she attempts to process the betrayal. Many encourage her to move on and focus on her own happiness rather than giving Gary another chance. Yet the decision is far from simple. History, love, and shared experiences make it difficult to walk away completely. Meanwhile, Sarah faces a dilemma of her own. With the affair exposed and relationships shattered, she must decide whether her connection with Gary is worth pursuing. What once seemed like a powerful emotional bond now feels overshadowed by guilt and destruction. Both realize that even if they choose to be together, their future would be built on foundations that have caused enormous pain. The scandal continues to dominate conversations throughout Weatherfield. Every resident has an opinion. Every encounter feels charged with tension. The fallout reaches far beyond those directly involved, affecting friendships, families, and community relationships. As the dust begins to settle, one question remains unanswered. Can any of the damaged relationships be repaired? Maria's heartbreak is undeniable, but viewers know she possesses remarkable strength. Having overcome countless challenges in the past, she may eventually find a way forward. Gary, however, faces an uncertain future. Whether he can earn forgiveness remains to be seen. As for Sarah, she must live with the consequences of choices that changed multiple lives forever. With emotions running high and loyalties tested like never before, Weatherfield finds itself at the center of one of its most dramatic scandals yet. And if recent events have proven anything, it's that the repercussions of this shocking affair are only just beginning. The fallout promises more tears, more confrontations, and more heartbreaking decisions in the episodes ahead. For Maria especially, the road to recovery will be long and painful. But in true Coronation Street fashion, secrets never stay buried forever, and when the truth finally comes out, nobody escapes unchanged. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.